Hi everyone, this is Dr. Aamir and Dr. Sahil from Team Meriters, and today we are here to discuss all the possibilities, all the problems, all the questions that a repeater might have in their mind when taking the NEET MDS exam again. So if you are a NEET MDS aspirant who has taken NEET last year or in the previous years and wants to appear again, we are going to address all the possible queries that come in your mind at this point of time and how the strategy should be for you and how you should be proceeding ahead so that you can maximize this year ahead for your preparation. So Dr. Sahil, I believe you've outperformed all your exams that you've taken so far, and you have a very good idea and understanding of it. You know how the NEET exam works and how efficiently you can tackle this exam. So what kind of problems do you think generally arise when you have to figure or when you have to come up with a strategy already when you know that the foundation has been laid?
Yes. So there is some basic difference between the preparation a repeater must undergo and of a fresher. When you are repeating or when you are attempting the NEET MDS exam for the second time or the third time or so on. So what are the challenges we will encounter is most important. First, we will have a self-doubt that whether I am good enough or not. Other than this, there will be a pressure from family, friends. If you see that few of your friends will be getting ranks, they will be joining colleges, moving on with their life. So you will feel left out. Also, other than this, what happens is when we specifically talk about the strategies, there is a certain drawback also, but a certain advantage also. As the repeater has already gone through the exam pattern once, they are already aware what goes on in that exam room, the panic, such scenarios there, the anxiety, the atmosphere that is there in the exam hall. Now what happens is that when you are a repeater, so you already know the basic books, the basic foundation. So what are some key points that we will be discussing today in this video? First, we will discuss what the problems are there and then the solutions.
Perfect. Now I'm looking at this situation in a different perspective to Dr. Sahil. I'm looking at three scenarios possibly. Number one is a student who has prepared very well in their internship. Suppose they finished their internship and they have prepared very well. They scored very well, but they did not get the choice of seat that they wanted, maybe because of the category or the state rank or whatever, but they have performed very well in the exam. The second situation is a student who has just taken the internship very lightly and they were preparing as it comes and they have just taken an attempt to this exam so that they can get an idea of what to expect next. And third situation is someone who has prepared long ago and has taken a gap for whatever personal professional reasons and is now appearing. So let's try to break this down for each of these students. Starting with someone who has prepared very well and knows what they are doing and has scored very well but could not get their dream seat.
Yes. So someone who has already prepared very well, they have completed the entire syllabus. Now for them, it is mostly about the mindset, the mental challenges, because
Correct.
they will be having that self-doubt that, okay, what did I do wrong? Now in this aspect, the most important attribute they should have is patience. If they have a patience, and when I say patience, I don't mean that patience, like what happens is we say, okay, we will give the exam next year, but during the time of preparation, we will get frustrated, we will feel guilt. That is not patience. So when we say there is a statement called patience is a virtue. Now what does that mean? When we say patience is a virtue, it means that you have to be patient, but at the same time, you should not get irritated or frustrated if things don't go your way. So for example, what happens is when we are getting irritated in between, suppose I am reading a subject, suppose I am reading ortho. Now in my mind, it is going on, okay, last time ye question aaya tha, now that this question appeared last time, now if that question comes. So what we are doing is we are already thinking about the future, the exam scenario, what will happen in the next exam. We have to stay in the present. We have to tackle one question at one time, one topic at one time. And we have to focus more upon building the concepts. If our concepts are clear, then whatever question comes, we can tackle. Yeah. What happens in the exam hall is, mostly if we see a student who is very good in studies, who has already prepared well, they will never be confused. They will never be like that they don't know the entire question. What will happen is mostly they will be confused within two options. Because the pattern of a MCQ is such that never it's two options are very easy to rule out in most of the questions. what happens is, even you would have seen that in the two options we will be mostly confused, because in the pattern of MCQ is not based on single correct option. It is based on the best or the most appropriate answer.
Right.
So that is something which will only come with practice, and you have to have that frame of mind while solving the questions.
That's right. So I think the first problem that they are going to face is they need to identify the gap that was missing, like whatever they lacked in the first attempt, number one. Despite scoring well, they must have made some silly mistakes and errors. And second is to keep a mental strength of making sure that they are not repeating or not going down the hole where they are constantly creating self-doubt or pressurizing themselves. But having said that, they still should have a strategy. They still should have a plan in mind, because if you are overconfident also in such situations, it can really ruin the chances of you getting a better seat, let alone not performing well in the exam. So the first thing that I believe that they should be looking at is identifying their area which is not working out for them, the subject that did not work out for them, the kind of questions that did not work out for them, and come up with a plan or a strategy to focus on those deficiencies. So these are some of the most challenging things for a student to do, because it is very difficult to pinpoint on one specific things when you have thousands of questions, and if you have to point at one specific subject, one specific topic, it is highly impossible to self-reflect and come back to a conclusion. So these students can benefit a lot from the AI recommendations in the app, I believe, and these recommendations are very personalized. So they should take more of these mocks where they get good recommendations, and then they can follow the plan. I know they have the study material, I know they have the resources. Maybe they should enroll only for the test series or something and take up all the possible goodies from the explanations, make a note of them, revise them more thoroughly. And for the mental strength, it is absolutely necessary to not compare themselves to their colleagues, because so many of my students, like I can count on my fingertips that they have been self-doubting themselves because their friends got the seat and they could not get the seat. True. Now, if you are if you are determined to have a dream seat, if you have a subject in mind, if you have a college in mind, and if you are working towards it, make sure you have a vision board and you have it in front of you every single day so that you know what you're working for. So stay dedicated is the first thing that they should do as far as mental strength is concerned.
Yes.
Right. Now, let's talk about students who have taken internship lightly, have taken the preparation lightly, have appeared for the sake of appearing, just for the sake of an experience, and are now serious about taking the exam and want to have a good score. So what should be their strategy or mindset at this point?
Okay. So for such type of students, the hard work will be little more of hard work will be required. However, in the first scenario, if we see, mostly you need smart work. You need to identify your weak areas, your strong subjects, and then you have to work more on your weak subjects. Other than this, even for both the categories, if we speak, whether a repeater or a fresher, one very important thing to do when you are preparing for NEET MDS is that not all subjects will be having an equal weightage. So what you have to do is, first you have to identify, okay, these are the most important ones. These will have higher weightage. For example, oral path, ortho, cons endo. These are the subjects from where, like for example, oral path, oral medicine. You have seen many times 30-40 questions alone are coming from this subject only in the NEET exam. So for such subjects, they might have to dedicate a little more time, say a month, 2 months. For subjects like dental anatomy, DADH, they might biochemistry, they might have to just give 10-12 days. Because see, what happens is, I have seen this in many students. They will read the basic subjects more, because we are dental students. So we are already weak in the medical subjects. Second thing is that what we see, there are people who will read pharmacology for 3 months, but ultimately they will only be getting 10-12 questions out of that. On the other hand, if you read oral path for 2 months also, out of 40 you might get 35-36 correct. And pharmac, even if you read 4 months, there is a chance 3-4 might go wrong. That is the smart learning aspect. Other than the MCQs, we have to also focus on the weightage also. Yes.
Right. So I believe a lot of students take it for granted that The medical subjects are not so important. The dental subjects are more important. All of that. So subject-wise division and having a schedule that helps them break down the weightage is superior, like the most important thing, 100% at least. And especially subjects like Pharmac, which are very vast, and the possibilities of going wrong in Pharmac are more than the possibilities of going wrong in oral paths. Because we are more experienced in oral path and we read more of oral path and allied topics. So that being said, I think these students are going to need something that builds the foundation for them, that makes sure that they are reading only what is necessary and they are eliminating what is not required. Because if you are reading everything and every time you are just sitting with a textbook trying to mug things and trying to curate your notes, you are going to lose a lot of time and you're going to lose the time that you could use for practicing multiple choice questions. So they can benefit from something that's our guided prep, where they have the tasks. They should follow on one task at a time, and there is a specific schedule that we follow. The schedule is very carefully curated, like we have identical subjects together. So suppose if you have to start your preparation, you start with DA, DH, and then comes perio. So it's clinical and basic lines and first year, final year together. So you merge subjects that come together and then prepare, so that you are not reading the same thing. Shedding and eruption, you will read in DH, you will read in pedo, you will read here and there. So make sure that you're reading it once and for all and solving all the possible questions coming from that topic, so that you don't waste time. So time management would be the first priority, and subject-wise breakdown and weightage would be the second thing to look at. And I also think they should make sure that they are clearing their concepts a little more in detail. Because whatever we read in our first 4 years of BBS, we are preparing for university exam and we have a very theoretical approach. So what do you think they can do differently for as far as the reading is concerned for multiple choice questions?
As far as the reading is concerned, they should focus more on MCQ-based learning once they enter the internship phase. So what happens is, in MCQ-based learning, what is the thing? See, there are a lot of advantages if you go with the MCQ-based learning as compared to a mere textbook understanding. So most important advantages are, so first if we see, in a MCQ, there are 4 options or 5 options also in few MCQs. Now what happens is, suppose there is one correct answer, but even the other wrong answers, they in themselves are a particular question.
Correct.
So when you read the MCQ, while solving MCQs, you should not just focus on the correct answer, but also why the other options are wrong.
100%. Like, this is something that is very crucial for all those students who are watching. Whenever you have a question, look at the 4 options. You get the right answer, okay. But don't skip the remaining 3 options. Look at those options carefully and try to understand what that option stands for. And if you know things about that option, suppose if you have, say, starry sky appearance and you know the answer is Burkitt lymphoma, but there are options like Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's, and multiple myeloma. Make sure that you know those topics. Make sure you've read at least the basic most thing about them at the time you are solving that MCQ. Because you are not going to come back to each question and again. So read the explanation. Most of the time, the explanation is also going to tell you why the other options are incorrect. So you will have some brief knowledge about that, okay? And if you are not clear about certain topic, make a list of it, so that when you are revising that topic or the task, you will find, okay, this I need to revise from this part. This I need to read from here, so that you're not leaving any gaps in your preparation. Very good point, doctor.
Yes. And also in the app I have seen, there is one pro live test series also.
Correct.
That also I found very useful. And in between there was some integrated this thing also, that we will combine 2 subjects and put.
Right. So that's the cumulative test which happens over the weekend. So like I gave an example of DADH period. Let me give you another example. Surgery, anatomy, oral surgery. These can be clubbed together. Or dental materials when you start, and then you follow up with conservative and prosto. So it kind of merges everything. Ortho and pedo, lot of growth and development, and space maintenance and things like this. So we've clubbed the schedule in the app is such that they are all integrated subjects. So towards the weekend when you are taking the test, you are not only testing one specific subject, but also collaboration of these topics.
Yes.
Right. So sometimes microbiology questions, but perio microbiology questions. So you need to apply micro and perio knowledge both together. So these are the kind of questions we want to ask more. We want you to practice more. Now, although they may seem a little difficult in the test, but what they are preparing you for is to how to start thinking, how to start eliminating, and how to start applying concepts from two different subjects in one question. So 100% I really encourage our students to take these weekend checkpoint test or cumulative test, whatever they are called at the point of time, right?
Yeah.
And Dr. Sahil, now what happens with these students again is the lack of motivation, because they have taken the exam before. They know, okay, we manage somehow. We know what it is going to be like. Somehow during the first few months, they will prepare very well. And there is usually a gap. There is like a lag where they are going to be like, take it easy. I have a few things to do, this and that. And then towards the end, again, they'll be like, oh my God, I lost so much time. So how do you stay motivated in such situations?
So for this, there is a hack. We always have to be consistent. And in the first line, I said that we have to be within the present moment, not think about the future, not think about what will happen during the exam, on the exam day. And for this, there is a saying that if you are consistent, you will get it. If you are persistent, you will keep it. So you have to be persistent, not just consistent. What happens is that, okay, I got it. Now what happened? Most of the times it will happen. You see, you would have also seen in your teaching career that there is a bright student. First 2-3 exams, he is doing very good. After that, the results will start declining. Now, this could be either due to overconfidence, or it can be lack of effort. That okay, now they think that they have now they know it, now they will do it. But it's not like that. See, what happens in the last few months is much more important than what happens in the beginning phase. So you have to be persistent till the very last day of your exam, till the morning of that exam.
Right. 100%. Like a lot of students follow a schedule, 5 hours, 10 hours, whatever number of hours a day, and they do it every single day. And if you keep doing that, no matter if you have a bad day or a difficult day or you don't feel like doing, just open your book, spend some time with something, or open the app, spend some time with whatever you are doing, do something easy. Don't go crazy about preparation when you are having a not so good day, because you will have such days and you will have to tackle those days very, very wisely. Now, that being said, let's talk about a situation where someone who has finished their BDS long ago and has taken a gap, may have taken an exam before just for the sake of it, maybe AIPG or MCQ, some CETs before, and now they are taking NEET, and they have a faint idea of what the exam pattern is, but this is a fresh attempt at NEET. So how should they tackle their preparation now?
Yeah, so like these type of people, mostly they will be more thorough with the clinical subjects, because they would have either practiced in between or they would have worked somewhere. So for these specifically, we need this integrated approach where we can club the subjects together, ortho and pedo together. Then even in medical, we can club micro, pharmac, general paths. We can club these three together. So what will happen is, and since they are already working, and most of them might be in service somewhere, so they will not have that much time. For them, we need something where we can more productivity in a less time, like 4 to 5 hours at max they can give. But we should tell them that the focus should be there. It's not like that they are reading and they are also doing something else. Focus is very important for these type of people specifically.
So ideally, an app would be the best thing for them to have, because it's more handy and they can use it in their offices and places.
Yes, and more handy, and plus it's like a one-stop solution to all the subjects. You don't have to look for any other book, any other material. And even
so the advice is
from the standard books, we see the app.
Right. So the advice to them would be to start reading a little bit of the fundamental knowledge that they are missing out on, and then start practicing MCQs and dedicate specific hours in their clinical setup wherever they are, and focus on the exam like a fresher, but still focus on their weaker subjects because they are already better with clinical subjects,
Yes.
which is most likely actually, yes. So that being said, I think we have covered a lot of possibilities about the repeating NEET MDS exam.
Yeah,
The
one
whole point.
last thing about the Meriters app. So in that app, we see there just few months before the exam, 3-4 months before, we launched one thing called marathon.
Yes.
So that has personally benefited me a lot during my preparation 4-5 years back, because at that time we were having all these grand tests, mock tests, daily tests, but we were not having these bites and all. No, the cumulative tests were not there that time. So in marathon, what happens is, first of all, you will have that entire revision, because there are around 2,000-3,000 questions are there per subject. So first you will have that revision entirely, and also the biggest advantage is, once you are going in that marathon, what will happen is every subject will be there in that one column itself. So suppose these integrated subjects we are saying, now we do pharmac, then we do general path, then we will be like, okay, this question was there in pharmac also. So when we do this, it's like when we read it on the same day, we will remember more. Otherwise, we are reading suppose in May we are reading pharmac, September we are reading general path, then it can get confusing. So
Right. So marathon is
definitely
definitely
power also.
Yeah, because these are high yield topics, and when you are reading from previous year experience, and these questions actually are made from previous year paper topics. So when you revise them more towards the end of the preparation, it is really helpful. It is something that all students have benefited from. And I'm glad that you've also taken advantage of marathon. So I hope all our viewers who are watching this video have found great knowledge in this video and are going to understand what they will require for their preparation when they're taking NEET MDS again. And if you are facing any specific problems related to your preparation or are finding the right resources, we are just a text away. You can drop your comments below, or you can reach out to us directly on our direct messages on WhatsApp groups if you are a part of the Meriters community. And if you've not downloaded the app yet, just give it a try. Download it, it's free. Register, give it a try. There are a lot of good features as a free user that you can benefit from. So our aim is for you to use our resources because we've carefully curated them for you. And for more videos like this and for good content, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram as well, and join our Telegram groups for group discussions. They happen every week and they're really beneficial. And with that, both of us shall bid you goodbye, and thank you so much for watching and all the very best.
Thank you.